Y that response, you must be hungry. Good morning once more. Welcome to the US-Tanzania Tech Challenge 2024. My name is Khalil Mboy. I am an entrepreneur and innovator, and I will definitely be your host for today. To everybody joining us online on the US-Tanzania Tech Challenge YouTube, on the US Embassy YouTube page, Karibu sana, karibu sana, karibu sana. Welcome to the US-Tanzania Tech Challenge 2024. My name is Khalil Mboy, entrepreneur and innovator here in Tanzania, and definitely your host for today. Mabibi na mabwana, we are about to begin. We have an exciting full day of conversations. We have an exciting full days where we're going to not only acknowledge the tremendous shifts and changes that have happened in the tech innovation ecosystem in Tanzania, but we're also definitely going to have moments where we celebrate all the things that have been done to catalyze growth in the sector. But at the same time, we're going to challenge one another to make sure that we're ensuring scalable and sustained growth in the future. My presumption is every single person here is a change maker, a visionary, an innovator, or somebody who is looking to be inspired to get in that space one way or the other. And so with that, I am going to say one more time, welcome, 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 and good morning. The US-Tanzania Tech Challenge is, of course, following, this event today is following a program that has been launched a few months ago where we got a lot of Tanzania's innovators got an opportunity to, submit applications, share their innovations to, of course, the Tech Challenge. And today, we're not only going to celebrate the fact that that happened, but the fact of the matter is we're going to get to know who the final awardees of the program are. Are we ready for that? Yes, we're all looking forward to it. There was, up to 3 participants will receive grants ranging $50,000 to $250,000 United States dollars, ladies and gentlemen. To everybody joining us online once more, I just want to remind you, should you want to engage, ask questions, make sure you're part of the conversations. There's a chat there, so ensure that you're putting your comments and speaking to that as well. We have with us special guests who are going to be joining us this morning, and when they're in, I'm going to ask us to literally just get up on our feet and give them a round of applause, and then we can sit back down as the conversations begin. Is that okay? So a few guidelines. I'm going to first request for everybody here to put your phones on silent. In Swahili, we say hali ya mtetemo. I'm going to ask you to put your phones on silent. And 2, should anybody need to wash their hands and fix their brow, what you're going to do is just go through the doors that we walk through at the back there. We have a team of ushers that will be able to show you where that is. We're going to be having several breaks within in the middle of the sessions. So you're going to have an opportunity to go outside and have conversations and network. So with that, I'm going to insist that we give anybody who is up here our 100% utmost attention so that we can limit the side chatter. We're going to have moments to converse during the breaks. But finally, and lastly but not least, we have translation devices available. So if you need translation support, if there's something, conversation going on in English and you'd like translations in Swahili, that's available. If you'd like translations in English, that's available. So if you are here right now and you need that support, you can put your hand up. There's a team in the back. They'll be able to get to you and make sure that you have the devices. All right? So at any point, or you can just turn the the team is around the venue, or you can also let me know directly and we'll make sure that that's given to you. Ladies and gentlemen, are we ready? Tuko tayari. I'm going to try that one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the US-Tanzania Tech Challenge. Are you ready? Yes, that's how we're doing. That's how the ecosystem moves. A hand of applause to the US Embassy here in Tanzania. Kabisa. As well as the Global Engagement Center responsible, of course, for this challenge. Tupige makofi. And as I said, I'm going to bring in the room a few guests, and I'm going to ask us to just get up off our feet and give them a hand of applause as they enter. First, we have Mr. Daniel Kimmage, Principal Deputy Coordinator, Global Engagement Center. We have with us Mr. Michel Toto, Head of Office and Representative of the United Republic of Tanzania for UNESCO. We also have with us Honorable Jerry Slaa, Minister of Information, Communication, and Technology, Tanzania. We have with us also Mr. Brian Paul. We have also with us, I apologize, we also have with us in the room coming in right now, Karibu sana. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have keynote discussions, keynote presentations from them. And I'm going to invite them one by one. May you please take your seats. First and foremost, to the stage, I'd like to bring up Mr. Daniel Kimmage, Principal Deputy Coordinator, Global Engagement Center. Karibu sana.
Well, good morning. My name is Daniel Kimmage. I'm the Principal Deputy Coordinator of the Global Engagement Center at the U.S. Department of State. Welcome to our 7th Technology Challenge and our first here in Tanzania. First, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the organizers, panelists, judges, and contributors who have worked tirelessly to make this event the incredible experience it has been so far. It is an honor and a privilege to be here today, and I commend all the brilliant individuals and organizations participating in this challenge. It's inspiring to see how Tanzanians are thinking critically about the shared challenge of safeguarding our information environment and empowering the whole of society to do so. The innovative technologies you are developing will determine how we rise to meet this challenge. You hold the keys to our success. We are all in this together. Your commitment to innovation and civic responsibility is as remarkable as it is critical. The Global Engagement Center's mission is to direct, lead, and coordinate efforts of the U.S. government to counter foreign state and non-state propaganda and disinformation. Our job is to protect against attempts to undermine the policies, security, and stability of the United States, our allies, and partner nations. One of our key lines of effort is to support technological innovation and to understand emerging technology. The GEC endeavors to defend a free, open, and fact-based global information environment, safeguarding information integrity through resilience, media transparency, and digital literacy. Technology is advancing rapidly. Its influence is increasingly pervasive, presenting us with a seemingly endless list of complex challenges. However, it is through partnerships such as this tech challenge that we find innovative and localized solutions. This is truly a pivotal moment. This tech challenge is a manifestation of our commitment to look beyond the challenges and ensure that technology is a force multiplier for education, media transparency, and information integrity programs across Tanzania. We need solutions that ensure the accuracy, fairness, and transparency of digital content, preserving trust in our democratic institutions. We need technologies that help to empower underserved communities on the far end of the digital divide. We need toolkits to support our collective efforts to be responsible consumers of information. Your innovation, creativity, and technological prowess were on full display yesterday. From solutions leveraging SMS or digital ads to those built on open source platforms, you aptly rely on technological best practices while harnessing the growing power of artificial intelligence. Whether building new content dissemination channels, piloting new media monitoring mechanisms, or crafting more inclusive strategies for fact-checking content online, your projects collectively aim to leverage technology to foster a more informed, engaged, and digitally literate Tanzania with a vital focus on youth, women, and underserved communities. You've demonstrated how technology can revolutionize civic engagement, secure democratic participation, encourage informed decision-making, and ensure that diverse voices are heard. Despite our optimistic outlook, there are risks. Digital technologies are powerful tools, and emerging AI applications are on pace to be as ubiquitous, as prolific, and as disruptive as innovations like social media have been. We must continue working together to strengthen the integrity of our information space and protect against any effort to exploit or undermine it. I'm inspired to see Tanzanians forging ahead, leading this charge, identifying critical challenges and owning the solutions. The United States is here to support you, but the most effective and relevant solutions are often the local ones, as you have all demonstrated during this event. Thank you once again to our participants, our panelists, our moderators, and our judges. Your participation underscores the importance of our work. Let's move forward with purpose and passion as we work together to ensure a future where every individual is digitally empowered. Our online spaces are trustworthy and transparent, and civic engagement is attainable for all. So with that, I thank you once again for your attention, and I commend you back to the services of our outstanding moderator. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kimmage. Ladies and gentlemen, to the stage next, I'd like to bring up Mr. Michel Toto, Head of Office and Representative of the United Republic of Tanzania for UNESCO. Karibu sana.
Minister of Information, Communication and Information Technology, Honorable Jerry Silla, Deputy Chief of Mission Andrew Lenz of US Embassy, ladies and gentlemen, habari za asubuhi. As we conclude this incredible tech challenge, I would like to congratulate all of you on your understanding contributions. This competition has showcased the power of technology to drive innovation and, most importantly, to advance media and information literacy. As we face an increasingly complex information landscape, the ability to access, evaluate, and use information responsibly is crucial for building informed, inclusive, and resilient societies. Based on UNESCO's work in the United Republic of Tanzania, I can say with confidence that media and information literacy is not just a skill, it is a foundation for critical thinking, responsible engagement, and informed decision-making. The informative solutions developed through this competition are indeed stepping stones toward a future where every individual, especially young people, can navigate the digital landscape with confidence and integrity. UNESCO is proud to have been a part of this journey alongside the US Embassy and all the partners. Together, through this challenge, we are not only fostering innovation, but also empowering individuals, particularly young people, with the skills they need to navigate and engage in the digital world responsibly. UNESCO is proud to support this mission, the US mission, of course, and looks forward to continued collaboration with the US Embassy, the government of the United Republic of Tanzania, and other partners as we advance media and information literacy for a more just and equitable world. Thank you for your hard work, and congratulations to all of the participants and winners. Let us continue this important work and build on the momentum we have created here today. Thank you. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toto. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are swiftly moving on, Honorable Minister, before I call you on for your remarks, I'd like to mention that there have been several tech challenges that have been done in the past. And this is the first time, from what I hear, that the Tech Challenge has literally only featured one nation and a country, because previously it's been done regionally, where different countries got to participate and compete. This is the first time it's been done in one country. And for the first time, this Tech Challenge has received 113 applications, which is by far the highest number and most successful Tech Challenge ever done. Ladies and gentlemen, give Tanzanian innovators a round of applause. And of course, from what I've been told, they went through a rigorous process of review. And of course, at the end of the day, this really speaks to the growth of the ecosystem in Tanzania. Ladies and gentlemen, with a massive round of applause, I'd like to now bring up Honorable Jerry Slaa, Minister of Information, Communication, and Technology.
Mr. Andrew Lentz, U.S. Deputy Chief of Mission, other esteemed guests and panelists, tech innovators, media present, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. First and foremost, I'd like to send my sincere appreciation to the U.S. Embassy in Tanzania to organize this event. It's with immense pride and enthusiasm that I stand before you today as we launch this important event, which will delve into the future of technology in Tanzania. This occasion is not just a forum for discussions, but also a celebration and a showcasing platform of the innovative minds who participated in the US-Tanzania Tech Challenge. Today, we will unveil the winners who will receive a share of the US dollars 250,000 to bring their bold ideas to life. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the United States government for this steadfast support in advancing technological innovation and strengthening the information environment in Tanzania. This collaboration marks a significant milestone in our journey to build a sustainable technology ecosystem in our country. Ladies and gentlemen, the US-Tanzania Tech Challenge is focused on promoting technologies that uphold democratic values and principles. This program is built on three core themes, that is advancing democracy and internet freedom in the digital age, countering the misuse of technology, and ensuring that emerging technology respect human rights and democratic principles. I commend all participants for their creativity and innovation in contributing to digital literacy in Tanzania. The government of Tanzania, under the leadership of Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, has made remarkable progress in advancing the digital transformation agenda. Her Excellency has championed initiatives that have positioned Tanzania as a leader in digital technology in Africa. Key among these efforts is the establishment of 10 years digital economic strategic framework, which among other things contain building a digital Tanzania through various innovation led by young innovators to accelerate economic growth and social development. Our Excellency's commitment to digital inclusion has been further demonstrated through the launch of programs aimed at expanding broadband infrastructure, enhancing access to ICT services, and improving digital literacy for all Tanzanians, especially among women and youth. The government's investment in digital infrastructure, such as the rollout of broadband internet, capacity building, and the establishment of the 10 ICT hubs nationwide, reflect how commitment to transforming Tanzania into an inclusive, sustainable, and competitive digital empowered society. Furthermore, the government continues to support the growth of startups and technology industry and providing conducive environment and fostering innovation and entrepreneurship across the sector. Ladies and gentlemen, the US-Tanzania Tech Challenge underscores the shared responsibility of both government and the private sector in shaping a technology landscape that uphold democratic values. It is essential for governments to articulate a clear vision for technology that is affirmative, secure, privacy-respecting, and rights-driven, while also standing firmly against the misuse of technology for repression, control, or discrimination. Democracies must continuously adapt, ensuring that emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence align with respect for human rights and democratic principles. This initiative represents an opportunity to turn this vision into reality, providing practical tools that benefit both citizens and governments, and fostering a digital future that is open, secure, and respectful of democratic values and human rights. To our partners from the United States, your leadership in technology and innovation has played a crucial role in shaping Tanzania's future. This program is not just an opportunity for personal and professional development, but also a vital step toward establishing a vibrant Tanzanian technology ecosystem, one that promotes innovation, creativity, and economic empowerment. In closing, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the eight finalists and all Tanzanian organizations that took part in this challenge. Your dedication proves beyond doubt that Tanzania is ready to rise as a leading technology hub in Africa and beyond. To the finalists, I wish you success and eagerly look forward to celebrating the accomplishment of today's winners. Thank you so much. Asanteni sana kwa kunisikiliza.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Asante sana mheshimiwa. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Andrew Lentz, first, even before I call you up, I'm going to apologize for my printer. That did me a disservice at the very beginning. But ladies and gentlemen, to the stage, United States Embassy Deputy Chief of Mission, Mr. Andrew Lentz. Karibu sana. A hand of applause.
Honorable Minister, Tanzanian innovators, respected partners from the Global Engagement Center, UNESCO, and D-Lab, friends in the media, habari za asubuhi. Now I know I'm the fourth speaker, so I hope I still have your 100% utmost attention. Good morning. My name is Andrew Lentz. I am the Deputy Chief of Mission at the US Embassy in Tanzania. And I do want to point out also that the Honorable Minister was the only one of the speakers whose comments are written on a digital device. So I must apologize, I am still analog. But no, it is my honor to be with you today and to congratulate, as the Minister did, the 8 finalists in the first ever US-Tanzania Tech Challenge. And I want to congratulate not just the finalists, but all the innovators participating in this event. And I need to foot stomp something that you said earlier, because it's so important. We have to really make this clear, that the US-Tanzania Tech Challenge had the largest number of qualified applicants, all from Tanzanian organizations and private companies, of any of the previous 6 tech challenges that Daniel and, yeah. That's right. The largest of anywhere in the world. So, I mean, we really need to say this again and make it clear that Tanzania produced the largest number of applicants of any country that is engaged in a tech challenge. Hongera kabisa. Now, I would like to ask all of those who competed in this year's competition who are here today to please stand. Anyone who competed. That's wonderful. And now, please keep standing for a bit. If everyone who is under the age of 35 and involved in some way, and that doesn't just mean the people who are standing out, it could be anybody else, who was involved in some way in promoting and driving digital innovation, as a creator, as an entrepreneur, as a journalist, or a consumer, to either remain standing or to stand up now. Tafadali. Anyone who's under 35. I think I see some other under 35s here who are not standing. But I just want to say that tells us something. And I understand there's a saying in Kiswahili that fahari ya nchi ni vijana wake. And Mr. Minister, I think Tanzania has a lot to be proud of. Thank you. You can sit, yes, please. I think what we just saw here and what we're seeing in this competition is powerful evidence of the energy and the talent and the creative spirit here in Tanzania. And the desire among you and other innovators throughout Tanzania, not just in this room, to bolster democratic processes and to promote strong, credible information ecosystems. Your dedication to making your country, your region, and the entire world a safer, more peaceful, and more prosperous place is inspirational. The United States is proud to be your partner and to invest in your continued success. But ultimately, the future of Tanzania's democratic journey is one that will be shaped by Tanzanians for Tanzanians. We are here to support you, the individuals, entrepreneurs, organizations, and leaders who are passionately committed to that future. Whether you strive to inspire more civic participation in upcoming elections, strengthen protections for personal information, such as medical records, protect intellectual property rights to scale your business, or protect the freedom of expression in all forms, we are here for you. You are the change that the world needs to see, and innovative solutions like those you've come up with today are what will catalyze that change. In closing, I'd like to reiterate my thanks to everyone here today, to the Global Engagement Center, to our Tanzanian partners in government, particularly the minister and your ministry, to civil society, to members of business. We all collectively are inspired by the accomplishments of more than the 100 teams who submitted proposals for the US-Tanzania Tech Challenge. And please make sure throughout the course of today that you take the time to really network and engage with each other. Because one of the benefits of today is going to be what comes out of this space and the ideas that you can generate together, the new innovations, the new ideas. My colleagues and I at the US Embassy and Department of State can't wait to see what innovators will win the prize money today and take another step forward as change makers. So thank you all.
Mr. Andrew Lenz, asante sana. May I please now ask for all of you gentlemen to get up and take a photo right in the middle of the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Daniel Kimmage, Mr. Michel Toto, Honorable January Sla, and Mr. Andrew Lenz. Makofi kwao tafadhali. We have heard remarks, celebratory remarks of encouragement, but we have also been challenged. We have also been challenged that more is possible and more can be done, and it starts here today in the networking we do, in the conversations that we have, and the new innovations, new ideas that can be bred out of this space. One more time, a hand of applause. Asante sana. May I now ask that you take your seats right at the front row. Karibu sana. Mabibi na mabwana, ladies and gentlemen, we're directly now going to swiftly move on to a panel conversation, the first of the day. We're going to have 3 engaging panel discussions. Now, the first one is looking at the evolution of the Tanzania information environment. And this panel is going to be moderated by Ms. Nancy Angulo, who's the head of sector communication and information at UNESCO. Nancy, karibu sana. Let's give Nancy a hand of applause as she heads off to the stage. Nancy Angulo leads, of course, UNESCO's Communication and Information Program in Tanzania, where she drives efforts to foster inclusive knowledge societies by promoting universal access to information and the innovative uses of technology. Nancy, karibu sana. I'll invite you to welcome your panel.
Thank you very much. So I'll just go back. Good morning, everybody. As I was introduced, my name is Nancy Angulo. Managing or leading, coordinating the Communication and Information Program at UNESCO, dealing mainly on issues of everything to do with access to information, media development, safety of journalists, media and information literacy, and more relevant for this session, issues of digital literacy, and basically the transformation of the digital space in Tanzania. It's a pleasure to be here. Very humbled, honored to have also a very distinguished panel. We'll be discussing the evolution of the information environment in Tanzania. We'll be covering, obviously, first, historical and current dynamics in the information landscape, but also touching on technology trends, challenges, and opportunities. And this will be in the context of strengthening civic engagement and economic empowerment, but also countering misinformation and disinformation, ensuring that we have information integrity, particularly in rural and hard-to-reach areas, covering marginalized groups. So just in a nutshell, that's what we'll be discussing today. And to introduce my very distinguished panel, I'll start first with Mr. Philip Besimire, who is the Managing Director of Vodacom Tanzania. You're very welcome, Philip. We're very, very happy to have you. Philip Besimire is currently the Managing Director of Vodacom Tanzania, responsible for running all facets of the business, so that's a lot, in case you have. So he has over 15 years experience in leadership and commercial execution, working with one of the largest telcos in Africa. He has held various senior roles across sub-Saharan Africa, including Chief of Sales, Distribution, Regional Operations in South Africa. He has been Chief Executive Officer in South Sudan and Chief Marketing Officer in Zambia. And you can see here also the extensive experience across Africa as Acting Chief Executive Officer in Swaziland. So Philip brings with him and to this discussion international leadership experience and valuable knowledge to his to this important discussion. He has an exceptional track record of growing businesses and delivering strategies, strategic transformation in the telco industry. So karibu sana, Philip. We're very happy to have you again. Okay, next on my list, my very distinguished panel again is Giselle Mbaga. Karibu sana Giselle. Giselle is the founder and lead consultant at Kazi Connect. Giselle Mbaga is a seasoned human resources professional with over a decade of experience across industries in human resource management and holding executive top-level positions in broad line of industries such as financial services and the banking industry, fintech, IT, telcos, oil and gas, NGO, and retail. So a lot of experience in that area. So Ms. Mbaga has founded Kazi Connect, and which basically deals with modernizing the recruitment process, and it leverages on smart matching technology and AI-based search to connect job seekers to employers. Ms. Mbaga and her company have made it their mission to actively connect people to jobs that build individuals' confidence, skills, networks, thinking, and purpose. So thank you very much also for being here, Ms. Mbaga. Karibu. How do I introduce Nuzlak? Okay, very welcome, Nuzlak Dawson. Karibu sana. Nuzlak is the Chief Executive Officer of Nukta Africa. Nukta Africa, he is a multi-award-winning journalist, consultant, and media trainer on data and investigative journalism. He business and finance reporting. He also trains on issues of fact-checking and multimedia storytelling, and he's a pioneer of data journalism and fact-checking in Tanzania. Mr. Dawson has trained and mentored over 1,000 journalists. I think this has gone up a little. So he's trained thousands of journalists and communication professionals. And as CEO of Nukta Africa, he oversees the digital media and tech company's efforts to research emerging journalism and communication practices, as well as conduct media training and development of digital and data-driven content and tools. So prior to working with Nukta Africa, he worked with local and international media, as well as mining and risk management companies, including Wananchi Communications, Thomson Reuters, and Code for Africa, and Asaya Risk. Karibu sana Nuzlak, very happy to have you today. So, our last panelist, but not least, very happy to have you also, Jacqueline Lawrence, as one of the panelists in today's session. She is the owner, one of the youngest media owners in Tanzania, and director of Highland FM Radio. Jacqueline Lawrence is the director of this FM radio, a radio station that's based in Mbeya, in southern Tanzania, that focuses on ensuring rural and urban southern Tanzanians are well informed and have their voices heard. So the radio produces radio programs, obviously, in partnership with customers in the private and public sectors, and it focuses on entertainment as well as media for development in order to help shape the growth of the community. The station links community and business through its programming, which includes talk shows, radio dramas, and those that are of particular interest to agriculture, technology and nutrition, health, children's programs, and many, many more. So very, very welcome to this panel. Karibu sana, Jacqueline. Thank you so much, all of you, for making the time. There won't be very difficult questions. I'll be nice, but just, it's a space that you work in. It's a space I think you can speak about in your sleep. So I'll give you all just 10 minutes to tell us, in your view, in your space, in all that you work on every day, what are your thoughts on the evolution of the information environment in Tanzania? I'll start with Philip. Karibu.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Very excited to be here. Very interesting and intriguing topic that we're discussing, but also particularly happy and excited to witness young people participate, present their ideas, innovate in this US-Tanzania Tech Challenge. So, to the organizers and the conveners of this, congratulations and well done. Our job as people on the other side of the age spectrum, I think it's our duty to really give young people a chance, create spaces for them where they can thrive, and it's things like these that, or initiatives like these that actually add value to young people. So I thought I should say that first and foremost. And then obviously I'm happy to see my honorable minister here. We were together in Arusha yesterday, again on a tech-related conversation, Connect to Connect Africa. Again, similar kinds of conversations, trying to create a catalyst environment for tech and innovation in Tanzania. So very proud to be led by a minister who sees this as primary in this space, given the time that we're in the world today. With regards to the evolution of tech, I mean, you'll all recall, if you take a step back, it was print many, many decades ago. Print went into radio and television, and radio and television led into the computer, and then computers started to get connected, and that's when the internet came of age. And I'm sure there's a few of you here who've probably witnessed all this evolution and have consumed information or media along the four journeys. But I think what's very interesting that in Tanzania, especially from around about 1995, I would say, when telephony sort of started to take off, obviously we had the fixed line service through TTCL. Most of the information at that point was more of two-way communication. But what has happened since then with the evolution of cell phone technology and then onwards onto the internet side of things is that it's become communication to many. And I think that's where this massive pivot has taken place, whereby we, in the past, and I joke about this, that when I speak to people my age, that we grew up in an era where you had to tune in to the news at 10 o'clock. You had to tune into the radio for the news at maybe 9 o'clock, and there was somebody somewhere who was giving you the information. That time has since gone, because since 2004, when the era of social media came in, especially at scale with Facebook, all the 35-year-olds and below that the deputy head of mission was talking about have grown up in a world where information is abundant, where information is free, where information is not, I don't say where there's no gatekeepers, but information is out there. It's in abundance, it's free, very limited guardrails, and that's the world we've grown in, or many young people have grown in, and it creates both opportunities and challenges for us in Tanzania. Opportunities in the sense that we can harness that and the very many things that, or the very exciting new information we get and turn it into innovation, into solutions, and help transform society. But the counter effect of that, and I think in the remarks of both the Honorable Minister and the Deputy Head of Mission, the information can be misused as well. So I think the evolution of information, as I see it, is that it's come from a point in time where there was somebody or an institution that actually held the information, pushed it out to people to a point where now information is abundant and almost uncontrolled. I think we speak about user-generated information today. And I think when Jackie speaks, maybe later today, she will tell us the challenges in her space, whereby, you know, the broadcasters have got to contend with this, whereby everybody is almost a broadcaster on their own. Every cell phone has become a broadcasting tool. And whilst she employs trained and qualified journalists, you know, a young man somewhere in Karioko is broadcasting information on their own and they're not maybe necessarily trained. How do we bring all that together? So for me, I think that's the evolution I have seen with regards to both tech and information. And I think it's just taking off at this point in time. We're yet to see what the pinnacle of that looks like. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Philip. So Giselle, just seeing now the opportunities to harness this information, to get innovation solutions in a space where you're matching skills and to opportunities, what does that mean for you?
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Since I am working in a HR space, so I will really focus on jobs and opportunities that are available in the job market and what our job seekers are experiencing and what employers are experiencing. I think when the US Deputy Minister, head of mission, he did raise some few innovators who are here, and as soon as they establish their ideas, they'll build their business and an organization, and as soon after they finish that, they'll need people to work with. So this just shows you that how much important people are. We cannot grow our businesses or organizations without growing our people. And we cannot talk about people if we don't talk about good or quality hiring or quality recruitment processes. And we cannot talk about quality recruiting or people management, which is HR, without talking about technology. So from my experience, we have observed the evolution of how initially used to be when people are looking for jobs till today. Historically, we used to have a famous narrative that whenever young people or people are looking for jobs, they'll go with their brown envelopes and then dump them into offices and then wait for a call back. But now we see there's a lot of emergence of digital platforms that people or young people can basically get online, upload their CVs, fill in their data, and apply for jobs. So we are creating an employment marketplace. So what does this mean? This means, for job seekers, this means open opportunities for them. They can easily access the labor market on the palm of their hand or probably on the website, as well as for employers as well. They can have diverse candidates and job seekers from diverse backgrounds who can apply not only in their own territories, they can also apply for jobs outside big regions like the big cities. So this, by organization embracing technology and the role of agencies comes in by only when we can embrace technology and help more, so we can reach more people, so that organizations can get quality candidates. And we also see, historically, we would see companies advertise even jobs on their own job boards in their own organization or ask for referrals. But nowadays, companies advertise jobs online, and the emergence of social media as well has really helped this, as well as social media. Companies use social media for their own employer branding. Now, before a job seeker goes and applies for a job, he or she already knows or has an idea on what's the culture like in a certain organization. So this is very helpful as well to really help companies attract the right talent. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Giselle. Nuzlak, there's talk of quality institutions, quality information, quality. As you transition into a more tech, internet-based society, what does this mean for you and the work that you're already doing?
Oh, okay, thank you. I think 20 years ago, the people that Philippine colleagues who are listening were us journalists. By that time, we were custodian of information. I remember that time we'd go to the ministry for a press conference, and then the minister would ask a few journalists, probably from major news network, would say, someone is here, to say, is not allowed. Okay, we can wait. But I don't think this is happening nowadays, because as we are discussing here, this event is live. My villagers are watching it. Probably they need a translator only. So the evolution of information, all the digital technologies, had actually changed the whole content production process, from information gathering, processing, dissemination, and even monetization, because that also matters a lot. Those days, we journalists would go to the field with a very big camera and that, someone is posing, picking all that with voice recorder and everything. Philip said about the smartphone. And this has created many people who can actually create information. As he said, people in Kariakoni, Gongolamboto, with their smartphone, can create any information. And because they have seen like journalists are becoming more famous, they're having more followers online. So someone would just sit there and create information just to attract more people, even if it's fake. And we are seeing this is growing over time. So it's good that this technology has actually eased the access to information. People no longer wait for 3 days to receive a newspaper, but again, it's a two-way trafficking. So when it comes to quality information, because that's what matters a lot for now, majority access information from the radio, from social media, on TV, and everywhere. But our observation in our lab there at Keynote Africa is that as the time goes on, the quality of information that is coming out is also dwindling over time. And this is actually, we have not, especially in the last 5 to 6 years ago, the level of misinformation and disinformation that is happening in this country is actually unprecedented. And we noted this immediately during the xenophobic attack in South Africa and also during the COVID-19 period, and it's actually happening until now. So what do we do? So in terms of gathering information or all of this content, because sometimes we receive news from people, because sometimes an accident might happen there. The first person who is providing a video or a photo is just a citizen with a smartphone. And we use this in our news platform. So the first thing is verification of all of this information. But not every journalist understands these processes. And sometimes you need open source tools to verify this. Sometimes AI-powered tools to verify whether this photo is legit. Someone may say an accident happened in Pangani while it happened in Burkina Faso 5 years ago, and no, it can move. So what we do at Keynote Africa right now is training journalists and editors on how to verify information at the point where they are gathering information. So the photo would be trending on WhatsApp. So before like the breaking news, they would use open source tools and even some of journalistic techniques to verify before they go live. Because the cost of going live with false information is very high. So in terms of processing, we are seeing AIs coming with all, but again, it has actually simplified the news processing issues at the time where we are struggling with the revenue. Of course, with the retrenchment, AI at least help us move stuff. But also we are noticing that the AI-generated content, sometimes without any description, is actually misleading people. Some people are using it badly. Ideally, AI should have been here to improve humanity, but some people are actually misusing it. And people doesn't even say this image is generated by AI, and the general public doesn't care which technology you use to produce news. They actually care the end result of that. So with processing also, what we do and advise our fellow journalists, even the other social media influencers, is that increase the transparency in their content, especially AI-generated content like labeling this image has been generated by AI and it has been used for illustration purpose only, and it's not real as you would believe. So some of these issues in terms of processing help us actually improve the quality of information. Related to this is that majority here will receive information. Probably this is going live. The very important aspect to improve the quality is actually adding value to that content. Like, answering the question, so what? Why should we care? This is where the data comes in. Contextualizing what is happening. Is it an opportunity? Is it a risk? Because private companies like Vodacom, they're waiting to see how that information is going to affect their business, whether it's an opportunity. And this is what we are lacking again in this space. So most of the bloggers, online platform would just go live, no context, nothing. So this is actually undermining the quality of information and how the public can use this information decision making. There are farmers in the Southern Highlands there waiting for this information, maybe it's wholesale crop prices. They want waiting for analysis to see where to sell and even how to sell it. But we don't get this. It's actually a quality issue. And the last thing is more in terms of dissemination. Some of people like you, using digital technologies for now for disseminating information and everything. But the major issue here has been on how they disseminate, especially in the news. I think it should be a joint initiative of all of us. Understanding consumption habit. Yeah, because the audience wants this, it may not necessarily what they need. Because if that's the case, would be maybe in the next 5 years all actually publishing pornography. If that is the case, because some of people love that. But because the audience needs certain kind of content that might be very necessary and important for their development, in terms of disseminating, I think we haven't been doing right for the consumers. And the content habits, that consumption habit is actually frustrating the media organization, creating sensational content, clickbait. So you find the thumbnail very attracting, and then you click there, nothing. It's just we are struggling for monetization. There's no actual sustainable business models right here. Probably colleagues who competed with this challenge would have come with a solution, and I'll be very happy for that. Thank you, Nance.
Thank you very, very much, Newslack. So Jacqueline, in a space where the first person who provides the information is not only the mobile phone, how are you keeping up with these trends and changes in the environment?
Thank you, Nancy. I'm glad I'm the last one on this panel to talk about this because we are the biggest victims here. We're fighting for our lives, traditional media. And I want to take you all on a journey on how the revolution and the evolution of information in Tanzania, how we came in, how we got it together and used it for our good, and what it can translate to you. And I'm going to start by talking about the traditional era. In 1994, when the first private media house was established, this was the liberalization of media in Tanzania. This saw a huge rise of media forms with radio, television, lots of newspapers. Broadcast media was credible. Paper media was credible. It was huge. But the rise of digital platforms era in 2010 onwards, so people shifting towards digital platforms. And the availability of smartphones and internet meant that we were becoming challenged by digital platforms. Someone could have an online page and they have more audience than you. And then there was a digital explosion. This is when we decided as media houses that we have to converge with digital platforms. You cannot fight against something that has higher audiences. How are we training our journalists or audiences to converge with it? Now, Newslack was also responsible in giving us that confidence as well. He has trained a lot of journalists in our organization. And what we saw is that we have to have space in wherever information is made more accessible. Internet is giving high audiences to digital platforms.
how are we having space in that era? We cannot run away from that era. We have to develop in that era. We have to innovate in that era. But what does this mean for the rest of us? What space do we have where the audience is going? And how are we prepared to create content in that space? In 1994 to 2000, when medias were just growing and starting in Tanzania, we were not prepared for that. We had a lot of international content on our radios, on our televisions, but now we have seen from international media houses, from North America, from Europe, from Asia, that other countries have taken it upon themselves to create space in these places where audiences are huge. What are we doing about it? And how are we innovating in this space? Now, one thing I can tell you that we have learned as media houses, whoever makes information more available and more accessible is the big winner. We cannot run away from that. And with Tanzania, we see a growth in internet users. We're seeing a growth in number of people having access to smartphones. Now, we as media have taken that as an opportunity to grow in that area. All our media houses have spaces where we reach to youth using these platforms. We reach to youth using these areas. But how are we prepared to create content in these areas? Now it's not just about having a platform, it's about the content, because we're following the audience. Now, if we say we continue to do everything traditionally, we cannot maintain the audience that we have. We have seen big players in other countries who have had spaces that have not fully grasped technology and the information sector where people are heading to their advantage. I know we heard the story of Kodak, we heard the story of Netflix replacing Blockbuster, we've heard the stories of Nokia, who was replaced by Samsung and iPhones. The similar factor in all these areas is that the new players saw where the audience was going and they created a space for that. And as media, that is what we are doing. And I want to challenge us to do this every day in all our organizations, in all our arenas, in every place that we lead. We can only follow the audience, and we can fight against whatever is being made more available to the audience so that they can use it. So I hope this gives a clear picture of what medias are doing in this arena and what we can do as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Jacqueline. And in spaces such as these media conversations, we've heard time and again, or it's come up, that maybe we should really go back to the basics, and maybe it's good journalism that will save journalism. So my follow-up question to you is basically, what steps do you think we should take to build and maintain the trust with audiences, even with, you know, the new tech and with the new changes? What do you think we can do to maintain the trust with audiences so media remains viable?
We have seen with many digital platforms, with Twitter, with Facebook, they hold very many fact-checking tools for all the information that they put out there. That's what we're doing in media houses as well. We're ensuring that every crowd knows that they can trust us, but we're fact-checking everything that we're putting out there. I think it's important for all our platforms as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So back to Philip. We see Vodacom is a key player in this space of internet, tech services, a lot of work that you're doing on your corporate social response investment side as well. How are you ensuring that marginalized groups are not left behind as the country transitions to a more digitally connected society? Case in point, you see a lot of AI-generated, gender-based violence. You see a lot of online abuse and harassment, but also misinformation and disinformation, and now also coming up with the elections. There's all these sort of challenges that we'll be looking to address. How is Vodacom working on that, and how do you propose that we, as the industry or sector, do that also? Thank you.
Thanks for that, Nancy. I think one of the biggest challenges in these times is digital literacy. because citizens or folks out there get access to the internet, to smartphones, and their first use case could be maybe that video that was trending or sent by somebody, and the content might be not appropriate. So the onus is on us as providers of these services to participate in digital literacy initiatives, but also try to mobilize other like-minded entities to really support digital literacy as a foundational sort of requirement or capability that we need to put in place. So, case in point, under the Tanzania Mobile Network Operators Association, we work with the regulator TCRA, and we do have awareness and outreach programs on digital literacy. What should you do with your phone? What's responsible content and so on? Where do you find it? How do you access it and so on? So literacy is a key thing. I think the other thing, obviously, that you raised is with regards to access for all. I had a boss when I was in South Africa who used to say that we should never make the mistake of creating digital apartheid, because in South Africa, obviously, they had, with the history. And the reason he always said that was because digital, and I've said this in various forums, that digital technology is an opportunity to equalize society across the world. No matter where you are, you should actually, digital technology gives you the same level of access as somebody in the most developed parts of the world. So we have, for example, a solution with where we provide education content in a platform that we call Ifahamu. And if you look at the content in there, it's the sciences, it's mathematics, it's English, and some of it is textbooks that have been simplified and illustrated, and that content is available to children in London, available to children in Portugal, children in South Africa, children in Tanzania, and we are actually making it available to some of our instant schools that we have with in a partnership with UNHCR. So, digital equalizes, and digital helps deal with the issue of access. But we also have to be deliberate to make sure that the content that's being generated and created, products that are being developed and created are in a language, in a text that everybody can understand, that people can read, and that we don't exclude. We do have currently a hackathon sort of challenge going on within the organization. How do we bring digital content to people that are visually impaired? That's a challenge that we've thrown to our innovator teams back at Vodacom as an example. And we're working with various groups and associations of visually impaired. How do they interact with information? Do they have people that sort of read for them? Do they only depend on video? Basically going through a design thinking approach that helps us understand what we're trying to solve for. So I think access is another issue that we really need to try and solve. And then lastly, I would say that relevance, probably related to what I said earlier on. What content do we have? What solutions do we have that are relevant for what audiences? I think in many cases, because the digital world or the digital universe is free for all, people dive in and just get and consume whatever they find. But I think we have an opportunity to create that relevance, curate information, direct people, especially groups that are vulnerable to misinformation, disinformation, or even misrepresentation, and direct them towards content, or even develop products that are suitable for them. And some of the things that we've done, actually, Jackie, with some other media institutions is partnering where we package information that's produced, for example, by authentic news organizations, and just make it available in a digital format, easy for consumption, so that we know behind us, we're not being the citizen journalists, but we're relying actually on trained professional journalists to provide such content for vulnerable groups that could easily be misrepresented. And again, I think the other thing is obviously how, it may be relevant, it may be accessible. Affordability remains a challenge for us all. I get challenged in all conversations I get in. Make the internet more affordable, make bundles more affordable, and that is something that we have to continue striving to be more efficient on our side, so that those efficiencies translate into cost reduction to customers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Philip. So, Giselle, building on what Philip has just said, how do you feel that people from all backgrounds can have access to, this digital access and literacy for development?
Thank you so much. I think one is due to the influence of mobile technology. There is lots of penetration in Tanzania. I think it's 80%. So not only in urban areas, even in rural areas. So you'll have people looking for job opportunities, even outside the major cities, have access to these jobs. Because they can easily go on the platforms and apply for jobs directly there, because they can use their mobile phones for them to be able to access these opportunities, as well as there's been lots of learning platforms. So job seekers, employees can get training and can learn different skills. The platforms that people use, like YouTube, Udemy, Skillshare, that a person can study or can learn a new skill at the comfort of their home. And this also open ways for even people living with disabilities, because they sometimes live in a very closed world. They don't have access to this information, but through mobile penetration and mobile technology, they get to have this access and get to be able to learn and grow their skill set at the comfort of their homes. So that will be one. And I think secondly, there's been a rise of remote work and remote and virtual hiring. There's lots of international jobs that are available outside of Tanzania. We have platforms like Fiverr that opens up post-job opportunities, especially for people with digital skills like software development, software engineers, digital marketers, that people staying in Tanzania can apply for these jobs. So all this is thanks to technology that it opened doors not only on our national borders, even borders across our country in Africa and worldwide.
Thank you very much. But building on that also, you have, Asha sitting in the middle of Mtwara, She has her mobile phone. She can do all that, but how does she know where to start? Like, where do we start in terms of digital literacy? I mean, we know we can do all that, but just speaking of someone in Tabora, Kigoma, she has the phone, Skillshare is there, but how are we connecting those dots?
So I think that's a very good question, and that poses a challenge for us to create more awareness on positive usage of technology, especially for the youth, because they don't know where to find gossip information. They don't know where to find what Diamond has done. But where does the thinking end for them to think further and say, what, how do I become a digital marketer? How do I become a content creator? So I'm preparing for an interview. What are the things I need to know when I'm preparing for the interview? So it's more of a mindset shift that I think leaders and people need to create more awareness, but I also would like to take it on the youth own responsibility, because if they can go above and beyond and get very important information, they can go ahead and look for very important information. And that's why I would say platforms like ourselves, like AziConnect, we really try to create awareness on what we do so that people know where is the go-to place for them to get jobs. But there's more than jobs, there's more than local jobs. You can also get international jobs. So you can also search for other platforms for you to be able to access platform international jobs.
Can I chip in there? I think the other thing is, sorry to hijack, is that we've got to be open to collaboration. the opportunities, challenges out there are too big to be solved by just any one entity. And I think many times we've got a very sort of monolithic approach that, you know, it's Vodacom or it's operator X or it's radio station Y that's going out there to solve. So there is no reason why, for example, we can't partner with the radio station in Mbeya and say to solve for a challenge that's in there, whether it's a literacy challenge, whether it's a financial inclusion challenge. But I think that that's really where the magic is. Convene different partners, each bringing their unique strengths and attributes, and work together to solve this problem. Then the magic is in the numbers, and and the scale that you create as a result of that would be, you know, phenomenal. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Philip, Giselle. So, Nuzlak, I know it won't be a panel discussion in this day and age if you don't touch on AI and the space of AI and ensuring that we do all this, the collaborations, the awareness, the reach, the scaling. What are your thoughts on, you know, leveraging on artificial intelligence to build these skills, digital media and information and literacy skills, and getting the digital skills to, you know, places where they don't exist right now?
Well, thank you, Nancy. AI is coming at the time, at least even our countries, like it's in the press, where the infrastructure is progressing well. I think we're in a time now, at least we have 5G, not in all regions, but at least we are in a good position. But AI is also coming at a time where the media is in a crisis. You know this. So we have an opportunity here. We have a crisis at the other end. And when I say crisis, for some people who are not following the media industry, across the globe, because of digital revolution, as the time goes on, we are losing revenue, at least by double digit, but most of the organizations. And this also has affected in the amount of money we are putting on training to journalists, editors, and the like. And this has also affected on how newsrooms and the other content production companies can adopt AI. Though most of them, they are free, but again, the skills on how to use it, as you said, the Asha in Mtwara, who has just graduated maybe diploma in journalism, the college is still teaching the 1990s curricula, which doesn't even have an item on imaging technology, which we all know. And even the peers in the newsroom, they have just heard about ChatGPT, Gemini and the like. They've never put a prompt in again, so they just hear. So that's the first thing. So how do we help them? I think we need to use a down-up approach, instead of like most of us media trainers, we can just come from Dar es Salaam, go to Kigoma, meet particular colleagues who are working in a community radio, bombard them with a lot of tools there, and you find that newsroom or a radio station has only 2 computers, the one in the studio and the one in the newsroom. So the best way would be taking few champions. Like I learned myself, I think I wrote an OPD a few months ago. I wasn't trained by colleagues who had smartphone from Dar es Salaam. And this person was giving us a mobile phone in our dormitory. So we would learn how to surf on internet, and it actually influenced us to buy mobile phones. The same. So if we can create champions, whatever in schools, like Philip was saying, maybe on how they can use platform like IFAM or our platform like that. So you pick few, train them how to use these tools like AI tools, including their safety issues, ethical consideration, and then these people can transform others in due course. We have tried this at Nukta Africa, and we found that it works. So you would train a group of, let's say, 10 people. You give them an assignment to train other 40, let's say if 10, everyone to train another 2. So at the end of the maybe 6 months, you'll find that majority at least knows how to use the tools. So that would be the first approach. The second approach would be updating our curricula, especially trainers and even the colleges and the schools. They may have some additional training outside of the available courses, because AI is most of the places experimental. A lot is changing. What you saw probably 2 months ago is not what is working this month. So if we might have these additional skills provided to especially students in colleges and the schools, because that's where we can also improve digital literacy as well. Is likely to work. So I've seen TCLI is having digital clubs. They are at Nukta Africa. I think my team is working on establishing data and fact-checking clubs in the colleges and similar to that. If we do this, if people are graduating every year, they're likely also to teach their aunties how to use these AI tools as well. Because once I taught my aunt, and she was very happy when summarizing her projects. So probably they will also be excited the same with this. So this would be a very low-cost strategy in terms of pushing forward these AI skills. But again, the last thing I think we need to emphasize is not about using this, because probably majority knows how to use, even by seeing on YouTube. The only important thing would be to emphasize on ethical use, on safety consideration on this. The tech colleagues would do all the codes, train all these models, but for us who push for tech adoption, we also consider safety and ethical use of this, because we have seen some biases around that. And someone might use the same content produced by these AI tools, publish in their social media without human intervention, and then creating more crisis rather than solving. So I think that's my take on that.
Thank you very much for that, Nuzlak. So we have around 10 minutes. I'm thinking to make this an interactive session, we could open for questions from the floor. We've heard of issues of digital access, inclusion, a lot of issues that we've discussed up here. Are there any thoughts from the floor? Any questions to our distinguished panelists? We'll be happy to take 1 or 2 questions. Karibuni. Also, if you need any translation services, please let the colleagues around know. There are people around, you can just put up your hand and then they'll bring you something for translation. I'm going to have to translate that to Kiswahili. Jamani, kama unahitaji huduma za utafsiri, naomba tujulishe ili mpatiwe huduma hizo. Unaweza kuna watu wako hapa pembeni, unaweza ukawashtua tu akakuletea. Asante sana. So karibuni, any questions from the floor? Okay, so I see 3 hands, so they were the first up, so they'll be the first to ask and possibly the last, but karibu sana, yes.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to ask this. Just hold on, there's a mic coming to you. You'll introduce your name, your organization, where you come from, and directly your question.
Thank you so much. My name is Warda Hamid Mansour. I'm coming from the Launchpad Tanzania. I am very grateful to have this opportunity to ask this question. You have discussed the evolution of technology, especially digital technology in Tanzania, and how it brings opportunity and all that. but I think that we are forgetting the aspect of online cybercrime that is rising. As the rise of this digital platform, digital technology, there is also a rise of online cases of cybercrime. Now, I want to know from all of your perspective, from the speakers, because all of you are coming from different sectors, others from media houses, I would like to know, as a journalist first, how do you ensure that in the rise of this digital technology, you remain consistent in communicating about online safety and well communication of the cases, well reporting of these cases, as we can see that also journalists contributes much to this, the rise of this cybercrime by the way they're reporting. Also, coming to the telecommunication company, how do you ensure that other cybercrimes that are not happening in this, on the rise of digital platform, example, people are being scammed these days through, example, in the communication of using your platform, example, Vodacom, Tigo, and others. How do you prepare to address this problem as it rises so fast and it persists? Thank you so much.
I think we'll take the questions first. That question one was directed to Jacqueline, another one to Philip. So we'll just take the three questions and then respond.
Good morning, everyone. Farhan Yusuf with the Tanzania AI community. My question is to any of the speakers, right? And it's great to have this discussion on the evolution of information, etc. I don't think I heard enough about evolution of the policy environment, because we know that, you know, our policies, our guidelines, basically our civic space sort of needs to also evolve to keep up with some of the changes that are coming up in the tech space. So any thoughts on that, any reflections on how we are doing on that, on how we can improve on that as well? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joseph Rambau. I'm the co-founder, chairman, and the CEO of the technology company startup known as Pixel. My question is, how do you balance the benefits and drawbacks of technology in your organizations? How do you balance the benefits and the drawbacks of technology in your organization?
To who is this question directed?
I think managing director for Vodacom.
Sorry, Philip. So with those three questions in, we'll just get the responses, I think, from Jacqueline and Philip. Okay, with Jacqueline.
Thank you. So, as a journalist, I'm going to talk about the cybercrime question that you posed. And one thing I can tell you, in media, we have to put a face to what the problem is. You communicate what it looks like, what it affects, what it means to the listener, to the one going through what it is that they're going through, and what it translates to the society. Once you put a face to it, it's easier to address it. In media, when we see false information being communicated, we address it and we talk about it and we give everyone a platform to say what it means to the whole audience to have misinformation placed out there. It's the same I can say with cybercrime. Put a face to it, ensure people know what it affects in the whole society. So that's how we deal with it. And I'm also going to talk about policy change. There was a question about policy change. The environment that we're in is changing every single day. We had a Media Services Act a few years ago that, along with other organizations, we, under Media Owners Association of Tanzania, sat down with the government over and over again to see how we can make it more likable to our working environment. And that's what we do in our space to ensure that the policies are in line with technology, are in line with the information sector right now. So this is something that we gradually do, and in every industry we have to do to update our policies, because we cannot move in business if the policies remain from 1960 or 1976. We gradually have to keep changing with the arena. And although there was a question about technology, I don't think it was directed to me. I really want to touch base on it a little bit. I gave a small example of how companies like Kodak and companies like Nokia were left behind because they failed to take grasp of technology and they remain behind. That is how it is in all our spaces, in all the companies that we run. You have to see where the audience is going and you have to innovate towards that. So in our space with technology, we have worked in line with digital platforms, and collaboration have made us successful in that arena. We see our radio being used by Vodacom to communicate that they have internet services in rural, semi-urban areas of the country. We also use Vodacom to ensure people reach us. We use SMS surveys. We ensure that people can get information to us via radio using the subscribers of Vodacom. So we have to collaborate in order to get the effect that we want in the society. So we have to keep this in mind. Technology has to go hand in hand with the business that we run to ensure we innovate towards the audience. Thank you.
I'll pick up from that. So with regards, Warder, to your question on cybercrime, very big problem today in Tanzania and in the world. There is no running away from that. And these cyber criminals are sophisticated. You close one loophole, they open up another. It always feels like they actually work 24/7. And the onus is on us to be vigilant. So we have a very, very robust cyber security practice within the organization. And touch wood, nothing has happened in our space. We have a bounty, what do you call it now? A bounty hacking program where we mobilize community and ethical hackers to test our different platforms, different software penetration, what they call, I think, penetration testing and so on, from time to time. And some of these are local, others are international, and this is an ongoing exercise so that we can catch any loopholes as quickly as possible. But that's with the sophisticated cybercrime. Then you've got the, I won't call it basic, but you've got someone calling you and saying, send me 1,000 shillings and I'll send you 5,000 because I have your money, but I need to pay for the fees, and then, especially for the elderly and so on. And then people give the information, people give their NIDA numbers, and then people take advantage of that. That is on the rise. We're working very closely with law enforcement, working very closely with TCRA, and as an association of Tanzania Mobile Network Operators Association, we've also come up with programs across various media. From time to time, you'll also see a notification on your phone, alerting you, do not give away, for example, for mobile money, don't give your PIN to a third party, don't give your identification number to a third party. And then we just at an advanced stage with the Tanzania Bankers Association to collaborate with the mobile operators to go on a big awareness campaign, and this will also include the Bank of Tanzania. Again, what to look out for, what to do, and how to avoid or how to react when something like that happens. So look, cybercrime is a real problem, and there is no running away from that. We just have to be vigilant, educate, tell our customers what to look out for, tell citizens what to avoid, I think earlier on we were talking about clickbaits and all that stuff, what not to click and so on and so forth. Massive program. I could go on and on and on. And then lastly on this point, October is cyber security awareness month, in case you're not aware. So next month is a big campaign around cyber security globally, and in Tanzania, as both the Bankers Association and as the Mobile Operators Association, we have campaigns that will be running with law enforcement and with the regulators to really bring this to the forefront of the community. Then we had a question around the evolution of policy, and I take that you meant in terms of probably regulatory policy, government policy. Thankfully, this is an area where the government of Tanzania is very progressive. Just about a month ago or so, during the Tanzania National Business Council, Her Excellency the President launched the new policy, and as presented by Mheshimiwa, the Minister here, it covers various areas, and it's actually now in the process of being uploaded on the ministry's website. You can actually it's a very rich policy, and I think probably one of the most progressive policies I've seen, and I've worked in quite a number of African countries. So the government is forward-thinking and forward-looking in as far as this space is concerned. And this information is like I said, on the website. Forward-looking, so you start to hear about Jamii number, Jamii exchange, and all these things. They're looking to really simplify all these different regulations and policies into one coherent policy that guides the whole of government and both public and private entities on how to work in this space. So I think that's probably, for me, a very positive trend. And then, Joseph, your question was with regards to balancing benefits and drawbacks of tech in an organization. Look, at the end of the day, that's why earlier on, I think when I was speaking about one of the problem statements that we're trying to address, which is how do we make technology available, accessible, and usable for people that are visually impaired. And what we do as an organization in everything that we're currently doing is that there's got to be design thinking at the center of what we develop. If it's not people-centered innovation, it doesn't get approved, it doesn't get supported. What we're trying to avoid here is where some very smart young people just talk to their laptops and to their computers and come up with these amazing things, but they are amazing to themselves, not amazing to the users. So, people-centered design has become key for us. And I believe even for the startups that are here, for the people that participated in the Tech Challenge, if it's not solving a use case, if it's not solving a problem for people, then you are designing for yourself, and you will not get scale, you will not get adoption. So it's important that we always have people-centered designing as much as, you can use all these tools, whether it's AI, whether it's, whatever design tools you use and capabilities, which will give you the sleekest output. But if it's not solving for people, if it's not solving a problem, you will not get adoption, and you will start to wonder, why are people not taking up your product? So I think people-centered design is key to us in a tech-led organization, or in a tech environment where we've got all these young graduates from University of Dar, UDM, excited to code and design and change the world. But you have to make sure that you bring them back to earth all the time, that it's about people, it's about users. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much for that, Philip, Jacqueline. I think we have time for one last question from the floor before we wind up this session. It seems like it's just getting started. We welcome questions also from the high table. No, I never asked the high table if you have questions. So, Honorable Minister, if you have a question, Karibu sana. Yes, so we have, I need to be inclusive. It means you need to ask your question in literally half a minute. So, Karibu.
Thank you so much. My name is Matrona Mwacha. I work at Kangaroo Media as a digital media director and also like a global projects director. My question actually, I'm glad that like the Minister of Technology is here. It's more on the policies on how to like really combat misinformation. We see that like WhatsApp especially, there is a lot of information circulating around WhatsApp, and like the people who are mostly believe in the misinformation are people who are like, who live in the marginalized communities, maybe like our older parents. I do get like a lot of messages from maybe my uncle, my auntie telling me that like COVID vaccine is causing this and that is because of like, WhatsApp groups. Like, she's collaborating, like she has had that information from her colleagues, so she wants to know. And so now the question goes to maybe Philip and the our Honorable Minister. What are we putting in place to make sure that at least this kind of information is being addressed like at the top level before it spreads out? Because misinformation is a critical issue, not just like for the older people, but even for young people. And especially now that we're coming to election, there's gonna be a lot of those. So I wanted to just to ask a question. What's the plan and what are the policies put in place to address that?
Okay, the minister was, well, okay. So karibu sana Honorable Slaa.
First of all, I'd like to thank all the participants and the panelists for such a brilliant discussion. And there were two questions, and I thank Philip. I think I owe you an allowance from the ministry. There was a question of policies, and there was a question of cybercrime. On the policies, I think Philip has put it very clear that we have good policies and we are doing reviews. And another thing I think we should also, as I think Jacqueline has said, all tech people out here to put your time on your normal work, put your time on your gossip, but also put your time on your ministry's publications. Because when we're doing the reviews, we call the stakeholders participation. And then you find a room with 3 or 4 people, and those are the stakeholders. So we'll keep on publicizing and broadcasting when we need stakeholders' views. Because you see, we have been discussing with Andrew here on the waiting room about how tech is progressing. It goes very fast. It's surprising for all of us. It's surprising even for the big tech companies, for the big tech gurus, that tech development is going very fast. That on the policy. Now on the cybercrime also, Philip has put it quite clear. When he started responding to the question, I thought he didn't understand the question. Because cybercrime is something different. And on the recent world report, Tanzania is ranked one of the first countries in combating cybercrime. That is one side. But also is the conmen online, because conmen have been there since. It's a traditional career. You know, there's, I've been telling the parliamentary committee, I've been the Minister of Lands before. There's conning on land, you know, there's conning on love affairs, there's conning on everything. Now, because of technological advancement, now conning has gone online. And I'm a politician. We pick calls from people we don't know. I still wonder, why does a person who is not a business person or is not a politician pick calls from people they don't know? And these people will be telling them things which a normal sane person will never do. But also you're saying they're taking advantage of the elderly class and people who are a bit ignorant. So I've instructed my permanent secretary to call up a meeting of stakeholders, I think sometimes in October, to discuss about this conning online and to come up with the joint statement between the MNOs, the police force, my ministry, of how people should behave online. Because someone will send you a video clip of an old man complaining he had been called by a person and tell him that there's a code coming to your phone, send it to me, I'll put you in a prayer group. But you know, this is the code which you get when you register your number in a WhatsApp platform. And I'm sure that SMS come with the same explanation, that your phone has been connected to this platform. If you have authorized it, use this code. And this person is taking this code and sending to someone else. So I think we as government and all stakeholders, we should engage in giving more education to the people and to make sure that people should be aware of the vast advancement of technology versus our own knowledge and cultures. And responding to the young lady's question, is the same way that the way people behave, based on our culture, our understanding, and the way we use our technological advancement. Personally, I'm kind of being happy by the way now people behave. In the past, I think the past 5, 6, 7 years, people used to take pictures of dead bodies in accidents and share them around. I've seen it really decreasing in those aspects. And I think I visited one media house and I say we should keep on educating people on the privacy and value of these people, which you think you can use it as a content, but is a relative or loved one of other people. Now, coming to the messages circulating in WhatsApp, of course, the cybercrime law is there. It's purely illegal, but it's just people have found themselves, you know, light-fingered when it comes to sharing and forwarding stuff. You know, someone will forward you stuff and you ask him that, what is this? He or she doesn't understand. It's just people have behaved that if you receive something, you just forward it to people, whether not knowing where it comes from. I think the gentleman there was saying something will be forwarded, you know, it happened 7 years ago, and someone will complain that maybe the accident happened today in Tanzania, which is an accident happened somewhere in the past. Of course, I have a little knowledge on mining, and one day I was forwarded that some miners in Ghana have mined, I think, not a 15 kilogram, maybe a 50 kilogram gold pallet. And it's not possible, even that size, in a normal understanding, if you go to the fast check websites, with that size, with the density of gold, you know, you cannot lift such kind of a size with the density of gold to that weight. So my point to your question is, all stakeholders should engage on educating the general public, which also they have their own levels of literacy, vis-a-vis the vast advancement of technology. But also as government, we are working hard on seeing on the review of the Cybercrime Act and see on the regulations of how to combat this, because at the end of the day, whatever is done, whatever is broadcasted in the WhatsApp, it hurts some people and it's illegal, and there's some people who fall victims on the same. So it's not only for the government. As you see, everyone here was saying that technology has no boundaries. It just cross-cut. So something which we used to wait for newspapers to come in the morning. There's some region in this country which they used to read newspapers of yesterday or day before. These days, you're out of here, you find all news which have happened instantly. You know, I even wonder, I was reading headlines of newspaper, I think yesterday, and I came to realize now the newspapers, they only sell headlines. Well, that's the only thing which will go out there, because people won't buy the newspaper, because whatever you write tomorrow, happened today, everyone has got aware of it. So it's the work of each of us here, and the young innovators who are here, those who have participated in this innovation competition, which I also commend that the number is so high. And Andrea was asking me that, how do you think the numbers of innovators are high? I said, because of the government commitment and the High Excellence President commitment in the development of the ICT, the way the government spends money, the way the government put out projects to get connectivity even in rural areas, the way the MNOs are supported so that people can get access to the internet. And this is how people have come to be innovators, and that's why you find the big number of innovative young people here in this room, and the one who participated in this competition. So it's the work of all of us here to work hard, to find solutions, as simple as it is, to educate the general public, so that each of one here will have the safe internet platforms, so that it can come out with a lot of advantage to our country and less disadvantage. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sla, answering not just the question on disinformation, but broadly on other issues as well. Education, collaboration is something we've heard coming up a lot. So as we wind up this session, I'd like to ask my dear distinguished panelists, starting with Jacqueline, coming back to me, in just 2 minutes, just do a wrap-up of what you feel we shouldn't leave without today from you. Thank you.
I'd like to answer the question on misinformation to wrap up and have something to go with. And we started a radio station 15 years ago because I went back to my village and I realized my grandmother, along with everyone of my family, was not going to the hospital because someone put out an article that the medicine that they give at the hospital causes cancer. So they started using herbal medicine. So I said, people need an option to have safe information and have credible information, and we started a radio station. And I thought in the beginning that fighting misinformation would be easy with radio. If someone said something, a minister said, you call them, you put it on air. But you know what we found out? When we put that information on air, what the minister verifies or what the MP verifies does not go viral. What went viral was the false information. You understand? So we then realized that the problem is media literacy, that we need to train this population to recognize false information so that they don't spread it. So fighting misinformation is not a singular job. The government cannot do it alone. The media cannot do it alone. Policies cannot do it alone. It is us as a society. What can we do when we find information that's not true? How do we verify it? And why we shouldn't share it before we verify it. So this is a task within us ourselves. So I hope that this gives us the knowledge to know that whenever we see misinformation, we know that it is within our task to verify it before we spread it, because it might cause the next uproar, the next apartheid, the next something that can divide us. So how do we as a person, as a community, see information, and how are we going to share it in a way that it's not harmful to a society? Thank you.
Well, for me, I think I would almost be similar to what Jack said, but again, it would be more on the larger scale of fact-checking. And especially this would work if the media and other organizations that are highly interested in fact-checking, they can join force, especially we are heading to election next year. The Highlands FM has its own audience, we have our own audience, and the other major news companies, even the social media influencers and other people who like the audience trust. So if we have kind of cohesion, and then if we fact check something, let's say at Nukta Fact, and then Mbeya Highlands can use that fact checked information, can help actually the public at least get that information and reduce the impact of that misinformation, disinformation that's trends. The other important issues now related to this is, I think it would be for colleagues who also work, maybe having clubs in the schools, primary school and secondary school. I think it's the time also to teach them about, how to verify misinformation and disinformation as well, like helping them simple clues. Like if you see a news or something, this is how you can, verify. If you have seen an image, this is the tool we can use. There are more open source tools, and we are seeing big tech doing this. So like giving them awareness, that would work as well. And also from colleagues in telecom, again, my point has been, if we produce information, and then people see like, oh, they're fake, and then they stop, going online, I think we are all losing, including you guys. You won't sell the data because they consume much from that. So if we have a joint effort, especially on training journalists and editors as well, because even when you see the information that circulates online, some of the sources actually from mainstream media. They still consume a lot from the mainstream media. So if we empower the mainstream media, like the radio, community radio, newspaper and TV, we are likely actually to counter misinformation big time. The only thing is, like, we just need to start today. Thank you.
Thank you. For me, I think I'll have two messages, and one message will be for the youth. I think we need to use technology and embrace technology more for our own benefit. I know there's a lot of digital transformation that has happened already historically right now, and they're going to happen in the future. So the future of work is going to change, and the future of work will all be about skill set. If you cannot deliver, the world or organization will not be able to consume you. So I think we need to use technology for our own benefit to learn, relearn, and unlearn, because everything we can get it through the internet. And on the last note as well, for job seekers, you should never pay to get a job. And we think that the rest of the panel have spoken about how people get, there are a lot of con men online, and also con men they also use the job platforms to con people, telling them that apply for, send us this amount of money and then you will get this job. There's nothing like that. Employers are very open-minded, and they're really looking for people with good quality skill sets. As long as you have the skill set, they'll call you in for an interview. You don't need to pay any person in between. Yeah, so that's it from me.
All right, thank you. So on my side, I think this is an exciting place to be. It's an exciting space to be. And if you are in tech, if you're in tech, it's really an exciting time to be alive. So let's make use of tech for good. That, for me, is a key message to innovators out there, to people that want to develop, innovate, and create solutions for people. That let's use tech for good. Let's solve human problems. Let's try to advance the communities in which we operate, where we live. We shouldn't have these big, audacious developments that actually don't solve day-to-day problems. All the challenges that we're speaking about here can be solved by tech. There's lots of opportunities out there, and I think you're best placed to solve these problems. And then lastly, there's no dialing back. Tech is just going to keep on progressing, getting bigger, more complicated, and the onus is on us as players in this space, whether directly or indirectly, to really create a space that is safe for everybody, to participate in, to enjoy. And most importantly, please, let's embrace diversity in this space. I'm very excited to see that there's young female innovators in this space today. People that come to Vodacom know, especially in my IT space, I have been drumming it down. I get into a room, and out of 40 IT engineers, there's only 7 females. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? My daughter will never work in this company if this is how this goes on. So really encouraging to see young female innovators. Please push this message, encourage other young girls to participate in tech so that we can get more ladies working at Vodacom IT in future. Thank you.
And with that said, nothing more to add from me. My job is done. I hope I brought out of this very distinguished panel what it is that you felt you came to hear, and a lot that you can take back and work on. So thank you from me. Thank you so much, Philip, Giselle, Nuzlak, Jackie. And I'll hand this back to the main moderator, Asanteni Sana.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you very much, Nancy Angulo. Hand of applause to our panel's moderator. May I please ask you Nuzlak, may I please ask you back on the stage so you can get a group photo? You're growing nowhere before we get good information about what happened on the panel, and that's a group photo that's really important. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our first panel for the day. We have heard on so many different things, and a few trending conversations have been had. I just want to say right now, if anything stood out to you and you do want to share with everybody else who's not here on your social media platforms, and I hope you do, remember that the hashtag we're using today is USTZ Tech. USTZTECH, USTZ Tech. Asanteni sana to the first panel. Let's make sure, as Philip said, we are in a very exciting space today. We're having really great conversations, great things to think about, great food for thought. Let's make sure that we're using the digital space and technologies that we have to ensure that those who are not here in our home spaces, in our workspaces, are also able to follow and engage. Not being at Delta Marriott this morning is not a reason for them to not be engaged in the conversation. So as you tweet, as you share the post on your various social media pages, remember that the hashtag to use is USTZ TZ Tech, but we are also live on the US Embassy TZ's YouTube page. So for anybody who'd like to share and get other people involved in the conversation, remember that we are also live YouTube. The page is US Embassy TZ. Let them know that they can engage, comment. We are following the conversations. And to everybody following us online who is also engaged in the panel, I'd like to encourage you to also put your engagement in the chats, put your comments in there. We'll definitely make sure that we're getting back to you. Ladies and gentlemen, and with that, I'd like to share now that our high-level guests are going to be heading out. I'm going to ask us to escort them out with a round of applause. Honorable Jerry Sla, Asante Sana, Mr. Daniel Kimage, Principal Deputy Coordinator, Asante Sana, Mr. Michel Toto, Asante Sana, U.S. Embassy Deputy Chief of Mission, Mr. Andrew Lentz, Makofi Elioshiba, tafadhali, a hand of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as they head out. And as you settle back on your seats, I'd like to also now welcome you to a break. We are going to have a break for the next few minutes. So we are at 11:31 right now. We're going to be ready to start the next conversation or next presentation here, which is one that you do not want to miss. At exactly 11:40 on the dot, we will begin. So with that, I'd like to welcome you to a break. We're going to go right outside the door that we have beverages and snacks being served. Karibuni Sana Network, bon appetit, and be right on your seat at 11:40. Karibuni Sana. And just to take a moment to speak to everybody who is online, we're going to have a break for the next 8 to 9 minutes, and we will be back broadcasting, and we'll be back having conversations. And so please, in case you need to take a break yourself, you can do that, but make sure that you're back here ready to engage. The next presentation is something you do not want to miss.